It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
To me, Ernest Hancock here in Arizona from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix here at the farm, where we're learning how to keep breathing in and out. Yeah, Walter, I got to tell you, yesterday I had a meeting with the Phoenix Police Department, a couple of guys from the Confrontation Prevention Squad, social, community services, whatever. And the conversation went like this. I'm going, look, you guys do this shutting down communication cell tower. You're not allowed to, protest or communicate. And we got all our guys in black with their nightsticks banging on their shields and horses behind us. Instead of just, you have officers lining the streets, let them protest and protect property and make sure the guy that throws the brick gets arrested. And heck, we'll help you and have the videotape. I go, you guys go down this us versus them thing. I can't help you. I'm telling you, I did not anticipate them doing this BART cell phone shutdown kind of thing like Syria, for a while. They did this, and it's time for us to talk. So I'm just seeing that this is going to be amping up because of economics. There's going to be because of the understanding that Dr. Paul has brought to this about, where we should be directing our attention, that I'm, to think that we are not going to see violence here in America is to be naive. But I have seen that we have been very tolerant, that the people here are much more peaceful, and I'm kind of thinking that a lot of people, certainly even in the government, are going, wow, what we got to do to get these people riled up so we can justify a police state. So I'm just, the love permeates this country, and I think Dr. Paul's campaign has a lot to do with that. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the, different philosophical arguments back and forth. You targeted Stefan Molyneux, and I was at Pork Fest where he was there, and Bob Murphy from the Mises Institute was part of the roasting of him, as was I, and Murphy took it serious. And the one thing that I really got, and the emphasis was, damn it, we got PhDs and testify before Congress and do all this other stuff. How do you get so many followers? Why are people, you got your own groupies and so on? How'd that happen? They should be paying attention to us. Well, he does have a lot of followers that are challenging this whole political thing. Of course, he's in Toronto, but, it's like, just be done with this whole thing. And I don't know what he's advocating, other just understand it. But you've targeted him, and I want to give you an opportunity to explain the message that he's given that you think is counter to what we need to be doing in supporting Dr. Paul right now.
Well, he's attacking Ron Paul. Now, look, I am a big fan of Stefan Molyneux. I think he does great work. He does magnificent work on his theories of anarchism. I'm a big fan of his there, and indeed, when people ask me to send them articles that I think are good on the subject, I include him. My attack on him, or my criticism of him, is very limited. I'm only criticizing his criticism of Ron Paul. I think Ron Paul is the greatest thing for libertarians since sliced bread, or I'm not sure if that's the right metaphor, but Ron is creating thousands, tens of thousands of libertarians. This is a phenomenon. This is magnificent. And here's this Molyneux guy raining on the Libertarian parade, and for very false reasons, that Ron isn't perfect. Well, no one's perfect. Ron can't do everything. No, Ron can't do everything. He never promised us a rose garden. The idea that if you vote, you're giving sanction to the state, which I think is an abominable argument, because we do all sorts of other things, go to libraries, use their fiat currency, use their roads, and if voting gives sanction to the state, well, we shouldn't do any of that, and we'd pretty much have to commit suicide.
Walter, I got to stop you right there. It is shocking to me to hear you say that. Here's Walter Black going, well, you drive on the roads, you go to the library. I would think, years past, I know you'd be just the opposite of saying something like that.
I'm not sure I'm following you now.
No, I would always thought that Walter Block, certainly, your first book, man, that was when we first started interviewing you years ago, Defending the Indefensible. And yes. I kind of got the impression that you were more of, advocating separation from the state, and certainly not advocating the roads, not advocating taking money for libraries, and not advocating a lot of the things that the state does. But I can see, it's kind of the argument. Well, you pick up the musket from the British soldier as you advance. You use the state against them, kind of thing. I understand that. It was just kind of surprising, coming from you, because I always considered you, the real hard anarchist. And this is where we get down to, I always say this. Sooner or later, libertarians always get into an argument how many libertarians can dance on the head of a pin, okay? And we have this argument because you can never be Christian enough. You can never be anarchist enough. You can never be atheist enough. And when we get in a situation where we have such a good example like Ron Paul, these little arguments go back and forth. And I'm wondering why you consider Stefan Molyneux and his arguments in the large scheme of things to be such a threat that you would even mention them.
Well, I think it's horrific. This is a point where we're creating libertarianism, promoting liberty like we've never done before, thanks to Ron Paul. And here's this guy who is criticizing the promotion of liberty in the name of liberty, and I think that's highly problematic.
Well, let me go ahead and give you because a lot of people always, I give you an example. There was, we were at PorkFest. Kokesh did his show live. He had Stefan Molyneux up and myself, and it went like this. Stefan Molyneux, man, hates politics, don't love Ron Paul, blah, blah, blah. Well, except Ernie. Now, Ernie doesn't. I go, whoa, wait a minute. You'll never find somebody more in support of Dr. Paul being able to get up there and give the message, go Ron Paul. I sacrifice a lot. We've been busting butt. We do a lot here. I just, tell you that. The thing is, though, you never heard me saying, vote, be part of, that, because I am of the opinion that I vote every freaking time I put a sign up. Every time I advocate, every time I push, every time I'm on a bridge, every time I'm building a billboard. You want to know how I vote? I do it that way because I know it counts. I know it's seen. I know it changes culture. I know all this other stuff's a side effect. So I just want to be clear on that. It's not that I don't want it to be misunderstood that I think the only way to support Ron Paul is through the government system. And hopefully I demonstrated that over the last few years. I'm like, look, man, I can be a big, giant Ron Paul supporter and vote with my actions. I mean, do you give any credibility to that?
Well, the way I see it, the essence of libertarianism is the non-aggression principle. Keep your mitts to yourself, keep your mitts off of other people and their property. That's our litmus test. That's our compass. That's our guiding light. So I ask myself, of everything, does this violate the non-aggression principle? Does it violate the non-aggression principle to go in a ballot box or a voting booth and pull the lever in favor of Ron Paul as opposed to some statist? And I don't see that it's a violation of rights. I don't see whose rights I'm violating.
When we come back, I want to talk about how well the campaign's doing. Walter, he's paying attention. Because I'm telling you, it's different. Think about it. 4 years ago, they were talking about how fast they can get him out of the debates. Now they're talking about how they got to endure him, and he's raising some money. Raising some money traditionally, going through the process, and I'm like, where's it going to go this time? Where's the next big thing in the campaign? It marches on.